Welcome to the Word for Life podcast, a daily devotional covering the entire Bible from Genesis to Revelation.
In chapter 2 of 1 Samuel, we read about Hannah's prayer and song to the Lord after she gives away her son to the Lord. The prayer begins with describing the character of the Lord. Hannah sings how the Lord is holy, incomparable, and one who can be trusted like a rock. Verse 2: There is no one holy like the Lord. There is no one besides you. There is no rock like our God. But Hannah also warns all those who are arrogant like Peninnah. In verses 6 to 8, Hannah talks about how the Lord raises up the poor and needy like Hannah from the ash heap, but the Lord humbles people like Peninnah and brings them down even to the grave. So friends, the right way to go is to rely on the strength of the Lord and be careful not to reject Him. In verse 10, Hannah says, "Those who oppose the Lord will be broken. The Most High will thunder from heaven. The Lord will judge the ends of the earth. He will give strength to His king and exalt the horn of His anointed." After this song and prayer of Hannah, as if we need an example to illustrate what she said, the next part of the chapter talks about the wickedness of the sons of Eli. These priests do not rely on the Lord, but reject the Lord. They rely on their power and position as the priests of Israel. They think that they will always be the priests of Israel. But since they reject the commands of the Lord, they are told that their priesthood will come to an end. How exactly did the sons of Levi reject the Lord? The author gives an explanation. You see, the sons of Eli practiced extortion by taking quality meat from the Israelites who sacrificed at Shiloh. According to God's law, the priests will receive the sacrificial animals' breast, right thigh, shoulders, and internal organs, along with meat from its head. But at Shiloh, the priest's servant stuck his fork in the pot and took the best meat. By this, the priests disregarded the law of God. In verse 17, we read that the sin of the young men was very great in the Lord's sight, for they were treating the Lord's offering with contempt. Not only this, in verse 15 and 16, we read that there was an additional abuse by the priests at Shiloh. According to God's law, the fat portion of the sacrificial animal must be burnt on the altar. They must not be eaten. But at Shiloh, the priest's attendant took the fat portion for the priests to eat. When worshippers complained about this, they were threatened with physical violence. Eli the priest heard about his son's actions, but he only questioned them. He would not stop them. Finally, the Lord sent a prophet to Eli. In verse 29, we read, the prophet asked Eli, "Why do you scorn my sacrifice and offering that I prescribed for my dwelling? Why do you honor your sons more than me by fattening yourselves on the choice parts of every offering made by my people Israel?" Friends, rejecting the Lord has bitter consequences. In verse 30, "Therefore the Lord, the God of Israel, declares, I promised that members of your family would minister before me forever. But now the Lord declares, far be it from me. Those who honor me I will honor, but those who despise me will be disdained." Friends, while the sad reality is going on at Shiloh, Samuel, on the other hand, was maturing well. Verse 11 says, "The boy ministered before the Lord under Eli the priest." Verse 18 says, "Samuel was ministering before the Lord, a boy wearing a linen ephod." Verse 21 says, "Meanwhile the boy Samuel grew up in the presence of the Lord." And verse 26 says, "And the boy Samuel continued to grow in stature and in favor with the Lord and with people." Friends, just as Hannah said in the beginning of the chapter, the Lord rejected those who rejected him. He brought down the priests who rejected him, but the Lord raised up people who relied on him. And that was Samuel. He relied on the Lord. And not only that, the Lord talked about what he will do in the future for Israel. In 1 Samuel chapter 2, in verse 35, we read, "The prophet told Eli the priest, 'I will raise up for myself a faithful priest who will do according to what is in my heart and mind. I will firmly establish his priestly house, and they will minister before my anointed one always.'" Friends, the truth of the matter is that we will rely on the Lord, but be careful not to reject him. In Hebrews chapter 12, verse 28 and 29, we are told, "Therefore, since we are receiving a kingdom that cannot be shaken, let us be thankful and so worship God acceptably with reverence and awe, for our God is a consuming fire."
Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow for the next episode of the Word for Life podcast.